Um, Jesus, of course, just has died. He has now risen. He has spent 40 days walking the earth and now has ascended to heaven. 10 days later, we're in the 10th day later. So technically, this is a Pentecost Sunday sermon. Pentecost meaning 50 days past Easter. Pentecost, 50 days past Easter. What happened was the Holy Spirit fell. It was this first time, his first time, falling to the masses, to multiple. Originally, he would do individual drop-bys, but this was the first time the Holy Spirit had mass touchings all at one time. And from that, the disciples in the upper room, the 120 of those faithful servants, all were touched by the Holy Spirit. And then Peter began preaching. Peter, touched by the Holy Spirit, began preaching. And what's interesting, Leslie, they did not know they was at church. They just happened to be in the wrong place at the right time. They were minding their own business, and Peter was preaching, and they can hear him. And the problem was, Scott, they wasn't hearing him in his language. They was hearing him in theirs. They were hearing him in theirs. And so they were kind of confused with how can he know their language without studying their language. And so he began to preach to them about Jesus. He began to preach to them about Jesus. And as he began to preach to them about Jesus, he concludes his sermon with, "So be saved from this perverse generation." He's alluding to the fact, Maureen, that we're trying to be saved from the devil when really God is trying to save us from the time. We're focused on being saved from the enemy, and what God or what Peter is suggesting here is the enemy is the time you live in. And so he suggests to them, be saved from this perverse generation, their ways, their habits, their mentalities, their attitudes, all of these different things. He says, you need to be saved from them. So he says, be saved. And I contend that our issue is there's too much generation in our church. Not holy grounds, just all God's grounds. There's too much worldtudes and not enough Godtude. And so there's watch this. I'm gonna have so much fun in 44 minutes. There's a lot of us have been saved from the devil, but ain't saved from the world. And so partially the reason is because we ain't been trying to get away from the world. We've been trying to avoid the devil. And so Peter says in this sermon, it kills me how he concluded it. He concluded it with, be saved from this time, be saved from these people, be saved from this age. It goes back to Romans 12:2, be not conformed to what? This world meaning eon meaning time meaning age. So it's not talking about the world as a literal sphere, it's talking about the time that you live in. Things that they say are acceptable, he's saying don't fall for that trap. So anyway, let me finish reading. So watch this. This is critical. I'm just talking right now. I'm really not teaching and preaching yet. But remember, this is cultish, okay? I want y'all to keep this in mind. The subject for the rest of the month is cultish. Not this month, in July, I'm sorry. Cultish, okay?